Hey there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. Today with another episode of Noob to Pro, the series that should help you get better at Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Today with a couple of more advanced movement techniques that you can actually use to get better at the game. Now as you all know, Noob to Pro is a 3-part series, meaning on Monday you'll always get the big tutorial video like this one, including some sort of training routine for the week. Then on Tuesday I'll be streaming. You can ask me a couple of additional questions that you had, so I can answer them regarding the Noob to Pro episode. And sometimes my girlfriend will be streaming some training after that as well to show you. But I'd say, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so before we get into our more advanced movement techniques, we really quickly want to talk about our movement basics and recap them. So first of all, we'll need a command which is called, if we type in space and then showpause, it'll pop up as CL_showpause and then 1, like this. And in the upper left hand corner we can now see our velocity, which is our speed that we're moving at, and of course we're the fastest with a knife. Now first of all, you want to be able to stutter step, meaning basically while moving around like this, you want to be able to fire accurately, and this always happens as long as you're under 30 velocity. Stutter stepping is the process of strafing into one direction, just using either A or D, then letting go of that key and tapping the opposite key. So for example A, let go and then tap D in order to be completely still immediately, instead of just kind of letting yourself drag out and wait until you're finished with moving. And like that you can basically fire as soon as you're ready to go with that. And this will make you a lot more accurate and a lot better, especially when you're going to for, a proactive firing style kind of. Now the next thing, pretty easy, is just crouch jumps. So just jump and crouch and get that down, and you should be good to go as well. And last but not least, our strafe jumps. So we want to be able to move our character mid-air like that, to control him and get to different spots on the map in order to gain ourselves like an advantage. And if you mastered all of them, we can now talk about more advanced movement techniques. Okay, so right now I have another command for you that will really help you with the contact or meeting points that you basically will encounter while playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. You want to hit your console, or better said, open up your console again, like this, and you type in bot_, then show, then underscore again, and then Battlefront 1, as you can see like this. So on the map we now have a couple of red spots, and they're kind of weird in some scenarios, but basically what they're indicating is the fastest way of a bot moving to a location and then basically marking that location when he's meeting the other bots of the enemy team for the first time. So right here in cache this is actually pretty good to indicate what's going on. So usually if you would be going to mid as a terrorist or also as a CT from the other side, the first time you'd be able to see the enemies would be right here. That's the first time you would be making contact in terms of line of sight. Now another thing also is that if you see you would be coming around this corner, usually right here you would post up as an AWPer most of the time. And again, this area is usually indicating, if you're not reaching it first, then it's also indicating the line of sight at which you might be able to see the other guy. And just by using this command you would be able to find out a little bit better where you have to go, or better said, where you would be able to see the enemies for the first time just by walking straight to them, having the best spawn, stuff like that. So you're basically, part of your training routine this week will be to find out those by yourself and kind of find the time for you to go there. But I'll talk about that a little later in the video again. Now, since we want to improve our movement, we also want to improve our jumping skills, as we already did in one of the previous episodes. However, back then we only wanted to learn how to do the jumps, and now we're actually focusing on doing them more efficiently. So this map right here is made by the guy who's also making the Prefire Maps. However, currently he only has Mirage available, but I'm pretty sure the other active duty maps will be soon to follow. Now, the point or the focus of these maps, just compared to learning the jumps, is that you actually want to get faster at doing them, so get more efficient. In the beginning, when you're doing this mode, just choose the challenge version, and you're gonna be doing all of the jumps right after another, and you want to complete them as good as possible and get more efficient with that. By that I mean you want to basically compare your times that you had previously with your new times and try to top your top score. This will make you more efficient, more, well, basically consistent with your jumps, and should make you overall a better player. So definitely check them out. I'll leave a link to the map in the description down below. However, if you still prefer the old maps, you can just use them still and try to get faster on your own and get a better feeling for them as well. This also works. so now let's talk a little bit about run boosting. It's kind of hard to do with Randys, but if you want to practice it offline, you'll have to use these commands, which also will be linked in the description down below. First of all, you want to bind the toggle bot mimic command to a certain key. I used O in my scenario. What you then do, you'll place the bot somewhere, again, commands for all of that will be linked in the description down below, and then he'll mimic your movement like that as soon as you're pressing the button, which is kind of nice. And you can toggle it, so just hit it again if you do not want it anymore. Then you want to use bot mimic yaw offset 0 in order to, well, basically make him move the same way you are. Then you just jump onto him, and then you once again enable with O, or better said, whatever key you used, the jump versus the run boosting. Now, what you do essentially while doing it with a person is firing 3 times and then start running with the 3rd shot. This is basically to get your timing down, because the voice comms have a long delay, meaning that you not properly will be able to do that. Another version is also to just jump once, and as soon as you hear the landing sound, you start running forward, and the same should be going for your mate as well underneath you. And then you can get to different places, like for example right here, the balcony area on cache. Okay, so basically how bunny hopping works in Global Offensive is that when you're landing on the ground, you have to input a plus jump, meaning you have to hit the, well, like hitting the key, like the spacebar for example right here. You land and then hit the spacebar. And the following tick of that, you want to input a minus jump, meaning that as soon as you're leaving the ground, you want to let go of your spacebar again. Again, this kind of applies also if you're using the scroll wheel, but in my case I'm scrolling my primary and secondary, so I'm actually using the spacebar to do that. Now the problem with that is that when you're inputting a minus jump or a plus jump at the wrong location or like at the wrong tick, it'll basically prevent you from bunny hopping. So you only ever really have a perfect 50-50 chance when you're using the scroll wheel. That's also why you see like all the pros and like the pro bunny hoppers never like exceeding a 50% bunny hop chance. Just because that's like a cap that is built into CSGO that you can't really go around. Now, if you're using the spacebar same as me, it'll be easier to bunny hop on 64 tick because the time gap is a lot bigger for the tick to input it, to actually hit it, and then again leave it. So it's a lot harder for you to do that on 128 tick. And essentially, all you have to do is learn the rhythm, which again can be kind of hard, especially since the first and the second jump, they do not follow the same distance when it comes to the time you have to travel mid-air, meaning that the timing or the rhythm will be slightly off. So yeah, when you're landing, you want to input a plus jump, so basically hit your key, and then the next tick, the following tick while you're leaving the ground, you want to also let go of your key again in order to do a perfect bunny hop. This is one of the many restrictions Valve put in order to nerf bunny hopping essentially, because it's really strong when you're able to just go around the map a lot faster than everyone else. So it's not something that you can really get super good with. As I said before, the best players usually have like a 50% chance of actually hitting their hops. And then again, another thing is if you're using the scroll wheel to jump, do not scroll too fast. You have to scroll a lot slower, and even slower on 64 tick compared to 128 tick, because there's also a spam protection, meaning that as soon as there are too many inputs of plus or minus jumps, it will just basically not, well, take any of them at all, which again means you're just jumping and then you're landing and you messed up your bunny hop. Alrighty, now let's talk about the training routine. So I on purpose wasn't giving you guys the perfect exact numbers, which is taking you for the exact contact points, because that's part of your training routine this week. You want to go to a spawn, kind of see where your bot's friends are spawning and where you're spawning, and then you should go to the mid area and try to use the shortest way possible, cutting the corners, being as fast as you can, and then see how far you can actually push before you can see an enemy to find your first point of contact. Because it's nice for me to tell you how long it takes in theory, but it's different for everyone, and especially when like bots are running with you or in front of you or against you, so they're kind of blocking you. So that's part of your training routine. Go on the maps that you're actually playing, and then go to each like point. Go to mid, to short, to long, to A, B, whatever and whatnot, and then find out how long it's taking you to get there, and then try to improve on the time in order to make you better and get you to the point faster so that you can get the first shot on the enemy. And as always, the other part of the training routine is pretty much just the same, so you just want to mess around a little bit with the things that I've shown you, so try a little bit of bunny hopping, but don't get too caught up on it, because it really is inconsistent in Global Offensive, and that is made so on purpose as well by the developer team. And you also want to try maybe some run boosting with the bots or with a friend, so whatever whatever fits you better, just do that and you should be good to go for this week's training of advanced movement techniques. But yeah, I think it's pretty short for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and luckySkillFaker out.